Guys, welcome back to my channel. I know you guys have been asking for this video for so long now, and so in today's episode of Prepare with Nikita Tanwani, I'm going to be giving away some tips which you can implement and practice to improve your communication skills and most importantly, your public speaking skills. Now, they do say that practice makes perfect, but as Brené Brown said in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, that the concept of perfection is self-destructive and it's an unattainable goal, alright? So, what we're going to focus on is just becoming better than yesterday. All we have to do is become better than the previous day, and if we do that over and over and over again, we will somewhere reach close to perfection. And trust me guys, even the most experienced public speakers still get nervous and do get the jitters when they're about to step on stage. But what's important is that you don't let those nerves get to you and how you channel that nervous energy into making your performance even better. Now that you're familiar with the agenda of today's video, I'm going to be breaking down today's content into two main parts, just the way we did with our personal introduction. That is, when it comes to public speaking, you have to focus on two main areas. One is the presentation, and this includes the way you speak, your stage presence, your body language, your voice modulation. And two is the content. And so now your content needs to be accurate, it needs to be cohesive, it needs to be structured, it needs to be relatable, and most importantly, it should be exactly what you wanted to say. And so we are going to be working on articulating our thoughts into our words very precisely. Alright, so now this time we're going to start off with working on your presentation first. And so number one on my list is practice and practice in front of a mirror. So the first time when you're just a beginner and really nervous to speak in front of an audience, what you can begin with is just look at yourself in the mirror and practice saying a paragraph or anything that you just want to practice. It could be an audition script, it could be a paragraph out of a book, it could be anything. But look at your facial expressions when you're speaking and look at, does it match the tone of the paragraph? So if you're reading something very serious, does your face emote the same thing? And if it's a very light-hearted and chirpy content that is supposed to make the audience feel happier, so does your face emote that? Are you giving out that happy vibe and that happy energy? So once you practice in front of a mirror, you will be your own audience. There's nobody going to be judging you. And this is the first thing that you should be doing when you start practicing public speaking. The second tip on my list is something that will help you be able to pronounce every word and every syllable better, and it will solve the problem of mumbling, which a lot of people face, where they're saying everything correctly but they're not able to come across to the audience because their voice was very feeble, they weren't pronouncing everything very clearly. And so what you have to do is take a pen or a pencil, a chopstick, any long stick, and what you have to do with it is you are going to place this in your mouth and clench it between your teeth. And so what you're basically doing is you're going to make the muscles of your mouth, your tongue and your jaw practice and work harder to be able to say the same content more clearly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demo what difference this makes. Normally, if I would be speaking without practicing this, I would probably talk like, my name is Nikita. Because I tend to speak a bit fastly and sometimes you don't say every single word separately, you just go in a flow. Now what I'm going to do is place this pen in my mouth, and I might look funny while doing this. My name is Nikita. My name is Nikita. So you see, just by practicing this once, what happens is you start opening up your mouth much bigger and it's going to help you pronounce every single sentence, word much more clearly, and this helps a lot with enunciation. I think all of the contestants at the pageant did do this practice before coming for the pageant. It's a very useful trick and you can just do it at home. It doesn't need any equipment either. Tip number 3 is that while practicing, record videos of yourself speaking. And not just that, if you're doing it at night and you're not in the mood to record a video, Also record an audio note. We all have a audio recording app in our phone, and it's as simple as that. Just listen to yourself speaking. Close your eyes and just listen to your voice. Because while your face may be expressive, you may have the right body language, but do you have the voice modulation needed if somebody was listening to you without looking at the screen? Would they still be able to, pay attention? Do you still hold enough engagement so that somebody wants to listen to you? And so a very good practice for that is to just listen to yourself on audio, and it helps me a lot. I do this all the time. Tip number 4 is to read paragraphs from books and read them out loud. Now, I'm sure when we were all in school, our teachers used to, make us stand one by one, and every person would read a certain paragraph of the book. We probably did not appreciate it as much back then. We didn't see the point of it. But it does help you a lot in public speaking. Just whatever you see, try to read it out loud, because reading in here is not going to help you when it comes to public speaking. It will help you how you speak to your friends or to your family. But when there's an audience, there's a lot more energy that is coming out of here. And so to be able to do that and make it easier, it just requires a lot of practice. So if you're just used to saying things out loudly, it's going to help you a lot on a platform. And another thing that you can do at the same time is watch some English web series. Try to sing the lyrics of English songs. This is going to be helpful to you if English is not your first language. Now here I do want to mention, because a lot of you had been asking me recently as to how I learned English, and because I did make a video recently about contestants being able to speak in their first language, or they should speak in English. Do check that out if you haven't already. And now I want to tell you that the thing is, English is actually my first language. That's what I feel, because I was actually much more comfortable in speaking in English, and I learned Hindi, say, after the age of 7. And this is because while I was born in India, but my early childhood was spent in the United States, and I went to school there. My early schooling was there. I grew up watching English cartoons, and everybody around me in school, my teachers, everybody was obviously speaking in English. And for that reason, Hindi is not as comfortable for me sometimes. While I am very fluent in Hindi now, it's been over 10 years, 20 years that I've lived here. But because English was my first language as a child when I went to school, and that is why I think English comes very naturally to me. And when it comes to communication and public speaking, that has obviously come with a lot of practice. Back in school, my knees would start knocking against each other when I had to speak on stage. But over time, I put myself into those situations again and again. And so I want to mention that this is another tip that you do. Growth does never come out of your comfort zone. And so to become better at public speaking, you have to repeatedly put yourself in that position. If you're in school, ask that I want to anchor this event, say the annual function. If you're in college, ask to be the anchor, the host for any function, any event that is happening, which will give you that chance. If you're working right now, you can join these Toastmasters club that happen, and those sessions are really helpful when it comes to, practice for public speaking. So just find out whatever opportunity you have. If you don't have any club or session that you're not able to go to because of the lockdown, then just make your family and friends sit down, make them your audience, and start speaking. And the last tip, while you have an audience, now this stage comes after you've already, recorded yourself, heard yourself practice in front of the mirror, you start practicing with an audience. And so what you have to do is, no matter the size of your audience, don't think of it like you're speaking to 10 people or 100 people. Start making eye contact one-on-one with every single person. Think of it like I'm talking to one person 10 times. It's just a person. Don't associate the face to this is my mom, this is my dad, what are they thinking? You have to block out all of that noise, and you just have to start making eye contact with every face. And what this is going to help you with is, when you're going for an audition or when you're facing an interview panel, the group size might be much smaller. There are hardly 4 to 5 people. And because you've already practiced making eye contact with 10 people or whatever number of people you've practiced with, over there, it wouldn't be a conscious effort that you have to make. because you would have practiced it already. So your eyes would automatically go and make eye contact with every single judge or whoever is on the panel. And so all of these tips are going to help you work on your presentation. Next, we're going to move on to the content. Now, having good content is very important for a public speaker. You may have done the presentation right, but if your content does not have enough substance, your audience is going to lose interest. And one of the main problems that people face when it comes to their content is they have it all in here, but sometimes they're just not able to put it in words. I've heard from so many girls who are pageant aspirants that I know the answer, but I'm not able to say it the way I want to. And this is something that you should do, like make it a daily habit. Start journaling. It's going to make such a big difference in your life, not just when it comes to public speaking, it's just going to make you so much more self-aware. And it doesn't have to be a fancy journal. Just pick up any notebook, any diary, it could be anything. But just start writing down what you're feeling, what your thoughts have been on a particular day, and do this like every 2 days minimum. And what this is going to help you do is, because you're so used to putting your thoughts into words, because when you start writing, it has to translate to exactly what you want to say. And so journaling is going to help you put your thoughts together and translate them into words when you're in a pageant or on stage or anywhere, where sometimes what happens is so many thoughts come into our brain, but we're just like, what do I say? I have all of this information, but you're just not able to put it into words. And so start journaling. That's all you have to do. And trust me, your words, your content will become 100 times better. The second tip when it comes to improving your content, now this content may be your question answer round or your introduction or just any speech that you have to give on any platform. And that is, whenever you're creating content, try to have a structured format. And this is going to help you end the content better, because sometimes what happens is we start saying things but we're not able to come to a conclusion, and then it feels like you've abruptly stopped or because you lost track, and you just don't want that to happen on stage. My next tip on this list is reading off of flashcards. Now, what this means is you don't have to write your entire content as it is on your flashcards. The meaning of flashcards is just to have some points handy. And so when you're speaking in front of family or friends or just practicing at home, or even sometimes on stage, if you are allowed to have flashcards, just make bullet points which tell you the outline of your speech or your content or your introduction, and then just try to look at those points and then finish the content. But you don't want to rely on flashcards so much that you're spending the entire time looking on the flashcards, and this way you might lose eye contact with the panel and with the audience. And another thing that you shouldn't be relying on them so much for is in case you have to improvise, because what happens is if you have the entire thing scripted, the moment you have to change, your brain panics, you get nervous, and even if you would have been able to improvise and come up with new content, you won't be able to do that because you were so comfortable with a certain script. And so allow yourself to modify the content. So always have pointers, but don't make the entire content scripted. And the last and final tip to improve your content and overall public speaking and communication skills is to read, read, and read. I cannot emphasize this enough on how important reading is, because the more you read, the more you think, and what you think becomes what you speak. And if you don't read, then you're just stuck in the same place and there's no growth. And so you have to read. It doesn't matter what genre you pick. Just read, because when you see words placed together and forming meaning and cohesiveness and structure, you pick up certain phrases, you improve your vocabulary, your mind is reading, right? So the more you start thinking in English, the more comfortable you start becoming in speaking English. And because of those reasons, it's extremely important to read. I've made a video on book recommendations already, and I was quoting Brené Brown earlier in this video. And so I want to tell you that all of that comes out because I do constantly keep reading. I think I've emphasized the importance of reading enough. And the last thing that I want to share with you guys is, while you're practicing your communication skills and public speaking skills, never ever be scared of looking stupid. This is something that so many people fear, and I want to emphasize here that it doesn't matter. If you look stupid today, you won't look stupid tomorrow, and if you're scared of looking stupid today, you'll remain stupid for the rest of your life. This may sound harsh, but this is something I truly believe in. Never stop asking questions. Don't be afraid what people will think of me. Constantly and consciously put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because that's the only way you're going to grow. That is a wrap for this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram to know what future content is coming up. And in case you were taking any notes while watching today's video, don't forget to tag me in your stories and your posts, and also use the hashtag Prepare with Nikita Tanwani. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye bye.